Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Quest Me, the Star Wars podcast that takes you on a quest through legends and new canon, or just new Star Wars content in general. Content. Anyway, my name's Josh. I'm your forever host, and I am really excited to be talking about Skeleton Crew, because that's what we're doing this season. Is we're breaking down the new Star Wars Disney Plus show, Skeleton Crew, or as Justin likes to call it, Goonies in Space.
That's right. That's right. It is Goonies in space, man.
It absolutely is. How have you been, Justin? It's been what, since July, I think, is
Yeah,
when Acolyte ended, or August, maybe. I don't
five,
remember. It's
six
been a
months,
while.
I want to say.
Yeah,
But I've been wonderful. Things have been good, ups and downs, but life overall is on the good path. It's
excellent.
actually Vice Admiral Lunsford.
Oh, oh my bad. I'm I'm so sorry. Is there anything I can get for you, sir?
Oh, just a little bit of respect.
Okay.
I'm,
Well, I
I'm
can't
sure.
really bring you any of that, but I can absolutely bring you our Pirate Lord Phil, who I am also very excited to see again. How's life been the last few months, Phil?
Mostly pretty good. Keeping busy, moving up in the library world.
Nice. Oh, yeah. So now Justin has a new official name. Do you have a new official title? I guess I should say.
Creative Services Librarian.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
pretty fancy, actually.
Creative Services Librarian.
Yeah.
You are essentially the lady from the Clone Wars that told Obi-Wan Kenobi that he was missing a planet, right?
Joe Castanew.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. But that's where we're at, right? Like, you're the librarian.
I am a librarian, that is for sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
But,
it's so excited to have you guys back on the show and to be doing Quest Me again. I also took a bit of a break from podcasting for a few months. It's always good to just recenter and, I don't know, get away from things for a while. And podcasting is one of those things that takes a ton of work and a ton of time. And I wanted to use that time for other things. But now we're back because Star Wars is back. So here we are. And also breaking news today, the guy that plays the bear, what's his name? Jeremy something. Do you know what I'm talking about?
yes.
The guy, do you know what his name is? The bear, Jeremy. Let me see. The
Alan White.
bear. Is it Jeremy Allen
Jeremy
White?
Allen
Yes,
White.
that's what his name is. He has been officially cast as Jabba the Hutt's son for The Mandalorian and Grogu.
No shit.
Yeah, no
shit.
joke. That was released 36 minutes ago. I believe, what's the name? Roton or something? Roto or something
Rhoda.
like that?
He really
Rhoda?
looks like Jabba. I
Yeah.
promise.
Well, he's just going to play the voice.
I know.
But, like,
Darn.
I hated
Jabba
Jabba's
Wonga.
son from the Clone Wars. Like that, the Clone Wars movie was probably my first like dip into toxic Star Wars fandom. Like personally, I did not like that movie at all. And it was mainly because of Jabba's son and the whole MacGuffin that was. So, granted, this is going to be Jabba's son, like way older, and he's going to be like probably trying to get revenge for his dad or whatever. But I'm just very curious to see why they're bringing him in. Justin, what did you have to say?
I figured it out. I was going to clarify the Gendy Tarbatsky or whatever his name is, or the Clone Wars series.
Oh, the original one, the one from 2001, 2002.
Yeah. But I figured it out. It's the series.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm talking about the movie. Because they had that series that came out, and then Lucas scrapped that original anime Clone Wars and then started the new Clone Wars series, and it came like a movie came out. I remember vividly when it came out because I was living in Aurora at the time, and I went to the Batman theater I think this was like
The Batman Theater.
11 months before that incident and that tragedy, I guess I should say. And I just remember being so disappointed in it. So I'm hoping that they give Jabba the Hutt's son a little bit of redemption in this movie with Jeremy Allen White, because I mean I love the bear. It's a great show.
Do you think he'll speak English or Michanga Wonga?
I
Huttese.
mean, it makes sense for him to speak Huttese.
Yeah,
I
but
think he spoke English in the movie.
he was a child in the movie.
They may have him speak
don't-
basic.
Yeah, I would assume
Or
those-
basic,
'cause
thank you.
Hutts speak basic, don't they? I mean, in the Legends, they would speak basic all the time. They'd go to like the Hutt Syndicate or whatever, and Luke would be able to actually
They understand it.
Oh yeah.
talk. Okay,
Yeah.
maybe, huh?
But I think at least Jabba refused. Like just flat out refused to speak it. So
Jabba
Yeah.
didn't care. He don't give a
See-
fuck.
Because he was like, "Screw you guys." I just hope that every one of what's his name, Roto,
Rhoda.
I hope that every single one of Rhoda's underlings is just like, "Yes, chef."
Heard.
Heard, chef. I think that would be great. Anyway, that's some good news. Mandalorian and Grogu is coming out in 2026, and I am extremely excited for that movie. Ahsoka season 2 doesn't start filming till April, so I'm assuming that's going to come out after Mandalorian and Grogu, and it's going to probably be the finale of that little story arc, I would think.
It's gotta be. Finish it with a good series, 1, 2, 3, and then boom. Awesome movie.
Yeah, it's going to be great. But apparently Skeleton Crew is kind of smack dab in the middle of that, because if I mean, we'll get into it, but there's some characters and things in this first couple episodes that are also in the Mandalorian season 3. So let's get into all of that stuff here after it's been a while since I've done this, but I'm going to push the button. Here we go. That's right. We're going to a bar far away with our good friend Phil. What are we drinking tonight?
Well, I got a couple of different things for y'all tonight. One is actually a non-alcoholic option, because we're watching Skeleton Crew, and Skeleton Crew is a family show. This is for the kids. So is this one.
I
So
was kind of wondering, are you going to do that for this whole season?
I might. We'll see.
You should. You should just do straight kids drinks. Because here's the thing: my stepkids are watching the show with me, and they're loving it. So it would be super cool to make them drinks. Star Wars drinks.
So
Kiddies, do you want a drink?
check this out. This, you can see hopefully a little better with the pink in there.
Oh, I love that. Here,
This, I call this a kiddie pool. It is a
show it again. What is
kid-friendly.
it?
It is a kid-friendly tiki-inspired drink.
Oh, nice.
This is an ounce and a half of orgeat almond syrup, an ounce of lime juice, a half ounce of coconut cream, half ounce of passion fruit syrup, 2 dashes of orange bitters. Shake it, strain it into a glass, and then it's topped off with a couple of ounces of just soda water. Yeah. So yeah.
It looks delicious. It looks.
It
nice.
is.
It looks like my kind of drink. See, I don't drink mixed drinks really.
Mhm.
I will for the right occasion and stuff, but I don't really. I'm not a big fan of them. So
Yeah,
it's mainly because
I
I just don't like my sugar tasting like booze. If you know what I mean.
That's fair. And then hang on, because
Is this the alcoholic one? Hang on, wait for it. Show it again.
Oh, close up. Ooh.
Oh yeah, no.
Try not to get too much of the reflection of my screen in the glass
Yeah.
there. This, I'm calling this one Port Borgo.
Proper.
And this is an ounce of strawberry and pineapple gin, an ounce of velvet falernum, an ounce of lime juice, a quarter ounce of passion fruit syrup, 3/4 of an ounce of orgeat, half ounce of coconut cream, and 2 dashes of orange bitters. So this is largely the same as the mocktail version, with a couple of tweaked ratios, and then with strawberry pineapple gin and velvet falernum in there in place of the soda water. And
How is it?
it tastes so good, man.
Reaction was awesome.
Like,
Hits.
like legitimately, like the only difference in the flavor profile there is the little bit of strawberry ginger, or strawberry pineapple rather,
Nice.
from that gin.
Nice.
But like,
Yeah,
I got to
I
be
do like
careful
the,
here as far as like remembering which one's which.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You cannot tell the difference.
Well, the lime, obviously, one's got a lime, one's got a lemon, right?
Nope, no, those are both lime.
Oh.
It's just the lighting.
Choose your own
okay,
adventure.
okay. I see. That's funny. Well, as
But
always,
yeah,
everybody,
they are
drink
both
responsibly.
delicious. Yeah, sorry.
Even,
No, drink
even with the
responsibly.
kids.
They are both delicious, and we'll have the recipes for both of those in the show notes.
Absolutely. I love me some gin too. So, man, one of these
Hendrix
days.
all day.
Yep. So before we get into like the synopsis and everything, I just kind of want to ask you guys, because I didn't do a lot of homework on this show. I didn't do a lot of homework for the podcast. I'm kind of going into this season a little differently than before. You know, a lot of times I'm seeing spoilers, I'm seeing rumors, I'm seeing all sorts of things that sometimes put weird ideas into my head and give me these weird theories, and I don't necessarily get to fully enjoy the show as it's intended because I'm constantly theorizing and wondering what's going to happen next. So I didn't do that at all with this show. I watched the first trailer of Skeleton Crew, and that was it. I basically haven't been looking into any articles. I haven't really seen any rumors. And it's, I think it
Refreshing.
I think it made it a little bit better. I think the show, like right now, has been better than what I was expecting. Justin, what did you do before? Did you do any sort of like research? Were you looking into rumors and stuff before this show? Did you spoil yourself at all?
Hell no. Like I've been on this kick for the last few months where I have a Facebook, but it's deleted from my phone, so it doesn't allow me the opportunity to hop on whatever Star Wars group I was on and to
Sure.
really deep dive and invest into it. But I same kind of thing. I like coming into this with a blank slate. I only watched the trailer because you sent it to me. Oh yeah, I forgot about this. But it's nice and refreshing, like I said earlier, to come into this show with zero expectations other than Jude Law. That's about all I got.
Right. Phil, did you spoil yourself with anything at all?
No, I was actually I avoided basically any news I could of this one. Like the only things that made it through to me before sitting down for the premiere were that Jude Law was in this and that Jaleel White shows up.
Yeah,
and
that's
we'll
right.
get to that.
I did see that one picture of him floating around.
Yeah,
I was like, really?
Jaleel,
Really made this guy? All right.
Jaleel White and then Vane from Mando.
Yeah.
So
I didn't see him at all until the show, which was kind of cool.
Yeah, no, that was I
But
think
yeah,
we all did a pretty good job of avoiding any spoilers
in
with
blind.
this, and I'm pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, same. And I'm gonna really try hard to do that for everything else that's coming up, like Andor and Ahsoka and the movie.
Oh, I can't
It's gonna
promise.
be tough, but I'm gonna try really hard. So I'm glad that we're all going into this with like like Justin said, a blank slate. and
Yeah.
it's we're going into a brand new Star Wars adventure that is completely new, I think, from anything that we've seen before. I mean, you could even look at the Acolyte. The Acolyte was new, but it was still lightsabers and space battles and the like, which I'm assuming we're still going to have lightsabers and space battles in this, but it's a totally different set of characters that we're not really used to. So I'm going to read my little synopsis here, and
You
then
do it in a
we'll
voice.
we'll get into this. Can I what?
In a voice.
Oh, you read it, didn't you? That's awesome. Ahoy, mateys! That's all I'm going to do. After an intense reimagining of A New Hope's opening scene, we are dropped into the lives of 4 kids that inevitably get themselves into some galactic trouble. We have pirates, treasure, action, and a new droid matey. Avast what you are doing, because we're about to chew the fat of the series premiere of Star Wars Skeleton Crew. There, are you happy? Are you satisfied with that?
Those are harmful cultural stereotypes.
I just Googled pirate sayings and added it to my opening statement there.
Consulted with Phil to see what is culturally appropriate to use.
I probably should have, I guess. I did mess that up. But I did realize that this show is all about pirates, and we do have a resident pirate on our show. So, Phil, let's start with you. How are you feeling about pirates and Star Wars, like a pirate-centric Star Wars show? Oh, he's all about it. He's got the shirt on. All right. He's got an Stormtrooper skull and crossbones pirate flag-esque shirt on right now, and it's amazing.
It's very dope.
So I'm assuming he's really excited. Muted. Are you muted? Or are you just
Oh no. I hit my
There it
mute
comes.
button when I stood up to show off my shirt.
nice? No, but
But yeah,
so
no,
you are
I'm legitimately pretty excited about more pirate stuff.
yeah, and it's like a
It's
whole
been one of my
show
favorite
about-
parts of the whole like Mandoverse. It's like, hey,
I would actually agree with that. That Mando, when they brought in the pirates, not only was it cool to see like our mateys in space, but that just also means that we're gonna see MF Hondo here soon.
One
'Cause
can
there's-
hope. One can hope.
There's no way, dude. They have to bring him into this.
I've
Right?
been waiting for Hondo, man. I've been waiting.
I
It has
saw-
to be this.
I saw all the pirates, all the things in episode 2. I mean, we're just kind of brushing right over episode 1, I guess, for the second. But all that stuff, all the pirate things, and maybe I spotted Hondo's ship. Maybe I have to go look at some Easter egg videos and see
Hondo
if
has a different ship in like every Rebels episode.
That's true. Like I said, I think I don't know for sure. I'm gonna go watch some Easter egg videos, and then by Sunday I'll come back to you with that answer.
Yeah. See, we have to get Hondo. I feel like he was the first cool pirate introduced via Rebels, or was it?
he was
That
Clone
was
Wars.
Clone Wars.
Clone Wars. Yeah. He became a main staple.
recurring villain.
Recurring scallywag. He's not a villain. He's a
neutral.
scallywag.
He's a green guy.
Yeah, neutral,
Friends with
chaotic.
Ezra. Maybe we'll get live action then.
Yeah. Oh man, see, there's the connection right there. There's the connection between Skeleton Crew and Ahsoka is Hondo and Ezra.
Hondo Naka.
Right. Okay. All right. Now I'm getting wait. See, this is why I don't watch things before the show anymore.
You're
Because
getting
then I
in the
start-
dumps, man.
My head
You're
starts
getting in the
spiraling
dumps.
out of control, and now I'm losing track. So we watched both these episodes. I did at the same time. I've watched both these episodes 3 times now because once by myself, once with the kids, which awesome. They loved it. I'm excited to have a Star Wars show that I can watch with my stepkids. They've always pretty much just made fun of me for liking Star Wars since I met them.
What?
And when we moved in together, my room is covered in Star Wars, and they were never really into Star Wars like I was. they're still young, and so they're always just coming and going. So tell me again why you like Star Wars so much. Just kind of looking around at everything. So it's good to have a show that we can watch together. But after the third watch, I kind of was trying to compare it. Compare how I was feeling with this show as with other shows. So Phil, let's start with you. How does this first two episode premiere, how does that hold up against the likes of Mando and Andor and even Acolyte or Obi-Wan or anything like that?
It's just fun. Like it is a drastically different tone from most of those other series because they're Andor especially was hitting heavy drama. But we're seeing just kind of the growing up, the coming of age story through the perspective of these new kids. And it's just, it feels closer to like the pure Star Wars formula while still taking it in a new direction.
Branching into the Spielberg
It's
Ambien universe kind of thing. Dude, it's a direct
Amblin, not
I'm
Ambien.
sorry, Ambien. Isn't that that's like a sleeping drug, isn't it? Whoops.
Which is
I'm gonna have to rename
only
this
reason I
episode.
said something.
Ambien.
Otherwise, I would have just let that slide.
But it's very reminiscent and almost like a direct copy of some of those other shows. Like, for instance, just seeing them with flashlights in the fog, that is so reminiscent of E.T.
Mhm.
The neighborhood that they live in is so reminiscent of E.T.
Yeah.
The just everything about it. There was like some, what did they say? Wastoids.
Yeah.
The kid on the bike called the girl a wastoid. And I've been trying to remember what that is from.
I think you're probably thinking of Ferris Bueller's Day Off when the school secretary is talking about Ferris to the principal. The
Is it
Wastoids?
Ferris?
They all love him. They think he's a righteous dude.
Let's see. Wastoid in movies. Oh, it's The Breakfast Club. It's yeah, dude. It's what's his name here? Emilio
Judd Nelson.
Estevez. Emilio
Oh,
Estevez.
Emilio!
And he's the dude. And he's like, "Hey, Wastoid, you're not gonna blaze up in here." There it is. So there even that, just that word taken from an 80s classic. And like you said, Ferris Bueller and stuff, like they're really honing in on the 80s nostalgia with these. And I'm kind of here for it. Especially because there's so much mystery going on. Like, first of all, what's this planet that they're on, Justin?
Oh man, it's like a time-locked utopia, I would say, of fascism within its own little bubble. And then like the whole thing where they go into, my dad was a computer analyst, well my mom was blah blah blah, and I'm like, oh man, they're just following in their parents' footsteps. This is oddly interesting.
You're talking the scene when the like administrative lady was asking what they all want to be when they grow up,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah, to me
Yeah,
that was
was
pure
interesting.
fascism. Everyone
Um,
had a role and a place to be in at the certain time within this planet, but it seemed all too perfect.
And
right.
they kept talking about, the great work.
The great work. What isn't that a High Republic thing?
That's Chancellor So has her great works. Those
I
are
think
like
I
the
read that
big.
in Mein
that's-
Kampf.
Yes, it is a High Republic thing. Chancellor So has several planned great works that are supposed to be like these massive changes for the Republic, including like Starlight Beacon and the Republic Fair, both of which get horrendously wrecked by the Nihil.
Interesting.
The nihilists.
So
just the Nihil.
I wonder if they're gonna tie that in because now we're tying things into the Acolyte too.
Well,
the
and
High
there's
Republic.
a couple of things. There's a couple of things that actually pop in that first episode that are really reminiscent of some High Republic stuff. Was it Kyle Katarn from the Dark Forces podcast? There's another guy out there doing Star Wars stuff. Was talking about how the barrier around their planet is reminiscent of Nihil storm tech.
Interesting.
Which, like I said to him, that's a deep cut for, relatively speaking.
And what was the? Do you know
High Republic
Storm
stuff.
Tech actually? Do you know what the Storm Tech did?
They used it. It was basically like generating like a storm. They had a whole space station off in was it Null Space? What they called it, where basically it was inaccessible except by the Nihil's special modified hyperdrive engines. There's like no other way to get to this hidden base, and it looked like there was a constant storm raging outside.
Interesting.
That's true.
So
That's true.
And it does kind of seem like, because at the end of this episode, I'm assuming anyone that's watching or listening has seen the episode. So if
Spoilers,
I guess
It's a Star Wars show.
But I also, and I don't think we need to break it down step by step. So we're going to be bouncing around a lot. Anyway, the end of the episode, they break through the barrier and they see the stars. And what's her name said? Fern? Is that her name?
many.
Yeah, she's like, those are stars or planets or whatever. And they're like, I never expected to see so many. It's like they've been shrouded on this planet.
And they're sheltered in the good times in like 1960s.
They are literally very sheltered children.
Right. And then like you look at their vehicles and stuff, they're kind of reminiscent of some of the vehicles in episode 2.
There's
the old Republic days.
Yeah. No, their tech definitely feels dated, by Star Wars standards. The little book thing that Wim keeps flipping through.
A little tablet.
Yeah, rather than having like the standard holo screen that you'd expect most Star Wars tech to include.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, they're still watching the holiday special.
Oh, I loved that.
The circus
I absolutely love the circus guys.
Yeah,
that was a treat.
It was, yeah.
I
had to look that one up. I was like, wait, that looks so familiar. Is that
I knew right away. I knew it right away, and I was so happy they actually pulled something from the holiday special.
You're the guy that watches the holiday special every Christmas, huh?
I do watch it with my daughter, even though it's horrible. With even Jefferson Starship doesn't even do a good performance. We still watch it.
I love that. I love that for you and your daughter, because even though it's a terrible, terrible holiday special, it's still a fun watch, and it's like a what would you call that? Like a initiation kind of thing at this point. Like if you're a Star Wars fan, like you kind of have to watch the holiday special, right?
Name the worst content there is. Oh, holiday special.
I don't know, man. Ewoks was pretty bad too.
But the Ewok movies.
Ewoks brought us Boba Fett.
No, the holiday special brought us Boba Fett.
Fair.
Yeah,
all white armor. That's why he's like the highest toy.
And you got the prototype Boba Fett toys that are all out there. So wow, that was the first time I feel like Phil got corrected. This is a milestone.
Deservedly so. I screwed up.
Man,
Joshua,
is that how that feels every time, Phil?
How what feels?
When you correct me and tell me how wrong I am.
Do I do that?
No,
Justin, do I correct Josh?
You corrected me because I talk out my ass a lot of the time.
No, you are our fact checker, hands down for sure. and it's okay. You got to be there.
I'm sorry, that's wrong. You're gonna have to explain it in episode 2, 15 minutes in. No.
So anyway, sorry, we're getting way off track here. We're talking about it being like this planet is just a weird. Everyone in episode 2 was like, okay, really, where are you really from? Aden? That doesn't exist. What are you talking about? And at one point they said it was a secret treasure planet, hidden treasure planet.
Hidden treasure planet. Anyone else ping on the connection to potential connection with the name to Atlantis? No, it was at Aden and Atlantis. Okay, maybe just me.
Interesting. No, I did not get that until just right now.
Yeah.
Atlantan.
The lost city of Atlanta.
Huh.
Thank you, Futurama.
Say that. That's funny that you say that. Atlanta. I need to center myself again. Deep breaths.
I am one with the force.
You got my head going with this Atlantis thing, but
I didn't connect.
I think the best part about this opening 2 episodes is the fact that they dropped this giant mystery bomb of a treasure planet right in our laps. Like I don't feel like, to go back to the original, how is this episode or these first 2 episodes held up with other premieres? I don't feel like there's many other premieres other than like The Mandalorian episodes 1 and 2, where I felt like, holy shit, I have to see the next episode to see where this is going. To see, like with Mandalorian, you're like, Baby Yoda? I have to see what happens next week.
More of the species?
Yeah, and like with this one, it's like, oh my god, a treasure planet?
Pirates?
and then putting everything, all the pieces together where like you see, I can't tell, it's Old Republic credits. I think it's not High Republic credits, it's Old Republic credits that kid is carrying around. And so even still, those are extremely valuable, and that kid's carrying them around like he's got an allowance from his parents.
Well, because he did.
Right.
That was his lunch money.
Right. So they're absolutely stuck in this past.
And they're like pristine Republic credits. Too.
Yes, they're what did he say? They're like, these are near mint.
Yeah. No, they're they are shiny. They have not aged. They look like they've barely been in circulation.
Right.
So here's a connection. So the 2000s and the 90s are the original Star Wars, right? And the 90s to the 80s are the Republic era. Now the 70s are the Old Republic, and I got a feel for this show being the 70s and 80s.
Okay.
Are you following me, or did I say that all jacked up?
Kind of. No, I get it.
I get where you're going with it.
I see what you're saying. You're talking about the old timey, like,
yeah. So they're stuck in the old time. And old time nowadays is 70s and 80s, and
right.
so that's right. A call to the Old Republic.
Well, and it's that. Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay, I get that. But it's also like Phil, you were talking about this this barrier that they have.
Yeah.
Are they trapped out of what's going on in the universe right now? Because like, do they not realize that not only is the Old Republic fallen, but the empire that took out the Old Republic has also fallen, and we're in a new Republic era?
My guess is that the whatever barrier is around at Aden prevents basically any incoming transmissions from being received, and likely blocks anything outgoing as well. If they're trying to if the existence of this planet is now passed into myth, then there can't be anybody figuring out where like some random radio broadcast is coming from.
It's got like a shroud, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're very clouded from everything. I think, and that's like I was getting back to the point of the mystery of this, because now now we got the question of they're lost in time. Basically, this planet is lost in time. They have no idea what's going on around them. Who's pulling the strings on this planet? Who's continuing to make them do the great work? And what is the great work? Like there's a lot of really dark things that could happen later on down the road in this show. That right now it's nice and kid friendly. These kids are going on an adventure, but I don't know about you, the Goonies scared the shit out of me when I was a kid.
Oh,
I think that just for a like continuity purposes, we'll probably see more of both Wim's dad and Fern's mom back on Ad Atten during some of the interim stuff, so that we can see what is still going on with people trying to figure out where their kids went.
Yeah,
Well,
that's true. Because now,
Ro in the chat saying that.
Oh, hello, Ro.
Also, hi, Ricky. And
Ricky.
Rose saying he predicts it'll be like The Village
And David.
with M. Night Shyamalan, isolated by design.
And that, oh my God, Ricky.
Ricky, this is a kid's show.
Oh my God.
They did go there in this kid show, though.
They did.
It's it's very interesting to think of this planet being like maybe it's a Palpatine thing. Maybe Palpatine kept them in the dark after.
Don't connect him. Nope. We're done with Palpatine.
Somehow,
Why?
Palpatine's brain has returned.
But that's the point right there, dude. What Phil just said, that's the point. Because Disney is desperately trying to explain away how somehow Palpatine returned.
J.J. Abrams got bored. That's it. Boom. There's our explanation. Moving on.
Yeah, well, 10 years later, we're still trying to figure out how it happened. So I'm thinking, I mean, it could be a thing, like now getting into it, like what if Palpatine was the one to keep them in isolation and to keep them working on the great work that is cloning Palpatine?
The great work is from the old Republic time, not the Republic. It's like 100 or 200 years in the past, man.
I just like the idea of having something new develop that's not at all related to.
But you know it's gonna be
the Skywalker saga.
You know it's gonna be. Even Acolyte had Plagueis, and that connects the Skywalker saga. So
shut up. It does.
No, but it's anyway. Like just to wrap that whole first part up, the whole first section. I think it holds up very well to other shows. This first 2 episodes, I think the intrigue is there. I think the action is going to be there. I think the new characters are there. Smee, that droid, is amazing. Neil is probably, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, he's probably my Boba's bounty this week. There's a lot of good things happening in this, and I'm excited to see where it goes. So what are you guys in that same boat? Do you think it holds up with those other ones as well, or are you on the fence still?
I'm loving like the new character designs. I'm loving seeing people who we want to ask questions about. We want to know more about these people, and we're not immediately told more. And I kind of still love that. It's like when the original Star Wars dropped, and you see all these different races sitting around in the cantina. You're like, okay, who are all these aliens? Who are all of these people? What are all, there's so much potential that, some of that wonder eventually got kind of destroyed by the breakdown of like, oh, now we can sell a toy of this guy, and that's so-and-so, and here's his backstory. And I know that is probably eventually going to happen here, but it's always just fun to still have that initial sense of awe.
Yeah, I was going to say I will buy
something
Neil
new with Star Wars.
so first off,
and if Neil doesn't get a Funko Pop by the end of the year,
I'm boycotting if that doesn't happen, dude.
Why didn't we call him Baby Max Rebo, huh?
Because he's not
Not the
that
same
same
species.
species.
Yes, he is.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
I looked it up.
I did too. Wikipedia says he's an orthothon or whatever. I can't say that word.
Wikipedia is a fan-made site.
They want him to be.
No, it was. I'm pretty sure. What's his name? John Watts confirmed that it's not.
Yeah, his mom didn't look like him at all.
Yeah.
They're same,
similar.
like, yeah, similar but different structure as far as like their bottom half goes.
Either way, this show compared to other ones like Andor, we knew we were getting a prequel to Rogue One, essentially. Mandalorian, we have some kind of. It involves the Mandalorian race in some form or fashion, and
No, don't even yourself.
and
We had
whatnot.
no idea what the Mandalorian was about.
Mm,
We had zero idea what that show was going to be about.
All right, I'll give you that. Ahsoka, we know we were getting into the Ahsoka in the future, or so to speak, Mandoverse. But Skeleton Crew, I truly didn't know what it was until the trailer dropped. I thought it was going to be a Rogue One of the Resistance at first, with going to have Zeb in it, and what's his name from Mandalorian, the Asian guy who I love. But just to experience this sort of 80s feeling of a new, touching in a new enterprise within Star Wars of being pirates. That's awesome, man. I'm so excited.
I do like the expansion of pirates in this. Rogue.
I do think we'll probably see Carson. I do think we'll probably see Carson Teva at some point.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Hope so.
This is going to connect to Mandalorian.
He is the glue
it already has connected to Mandalorian with that one pirate.
Yeah,
that's
but Carson Teva is the glue that holds the Mandoverse together.
You're not wrong. He's like the Happy Hogan.
He really is. He really is, which is odd considering Jon Favreau's involvement.
Right. Ro, that was like the first thing we talked about was Hondo coming into this show. I am 95% like positive that he's going to show up in this show. Like positive. You cannot have a show about pirates and not have Hondo.
We've all been asking for Hondo for a long time now. He was one of the first pirates introduced to us. That was a cool guy. And, if this show decides to drop it in like a Plagueis right at the end, like Acolyte, I'm okay with that. But I want Hondo so bad.
No, Hondo has to come in like he did in Rebels and mess with these kids. He's got it. He's got to show up and get them to trust him. And then betray them somehow, because that's who he is. That's what he's always done.
But he doesn't.
I don't think we have enough time to give Hondo a character arc in this series.
Could you imagine if Hondo is actually the initial pirate from the first few minutes of the episode? He's the one that they threw like they mutinied against.
That was definitely Jude Law from The Voice.
Was it though?
Oh God, yeah, that was Jude Law. But
I'm just disappointed that no one in the middle of that whole mutiny looked at the first mate and said, "Et tu, Brute?"
Oh, that is fucking clever. I love you, you librarian.
Yep. All right, so let's talk about the kids. These new characters that we got. We've talked about a lot of stuff already, and I was a little skeptical about watching a whole Star Wars series about, 4 kids. But I kept reminding myself that this is going to be a lot like a Goonies in space. And I really, really think, or like a Stranger Things. And I am so on board with all of these characters. I like every single one of them. I don't think, you know how some kids movies are where it's full of kids and you're like, oh my God, the one kid with the red hair just annoys the piss out of me. None of those kids do that to me in this. Like Neil is my favorite. He is my Boba's bounty. Spoiler. KB is like Data light, or not Data, Geordi light.
Yeah.
Well,
And
I
then-
mean,
Yeah.
like Data, if you're going with the Goonies reference.
True.
Ew.
And then of course you got the little rogue kid, Han Solo kind of kid, and then the
Fern.
leader, the captain, Fern, who's
Fern's the best.
battling her inner leader or whatever she's battling. But no, I really liked all of the characters and all of their backgrounds and kind of where they came from. Justin, with the 4 kids, who are you most excited to follow, or whose story are you most excited to learn about?
Oh, little badass Fern. She's rebelling against her mother, who seems to be the superintendent, one of the lead people in charge, giving the fascism a big middle finger and just doing her own thing. Like, she talks smack to the little boys the entire time and just rags on them, tricks them
Yeah.
to do the work for her. Like, she is so smart for a little girl. And I
She's a
wish.
captain.
Yeah, exactly. And I could see my daughter being someone that she looks up to her. And she even told me that, like, I watched it like you, first time for me, second time as a family, third time to digest and review. And the whole time she's like, I like that girl. She's I think someone I can be. I'm like, I hope so, honey. I really do. But
I love that.
so far she's my favorite.
Yeah. Ro was surprised how well he took to the kids. The little actors did great. Even Neil. That's funny because when Neil popped up, I thought of Ro specifically and him going, "Oh my God, this kid." So I'm glad that you like him, because Neil's my favorite. He was a little weird at first, just a little jarring at first, but then I saw his cute little comb over, and then him hanging out with his little brothers. Like, dude,
They have such a good dynamic with each other for the first 2 episodes, and they are introduced to one another as 2 separate groups of friends that just happen to want to go on into this, or happen to go on this adventure, and they have such good chemistry.
absolutely. Phil, is there a certain character that or certain kid character that you're excited to see, like their story?
I like KB.
Okay.
I like that, there's no comment on her modifications. So we have no idea if they are like a medical requirement, or if they're just mods. Like, if they're just like the equivalent of like a piercing, or if they're like some sort of like aid for vision or hearing or whatever.
Fucking Lobot.
Yeah, no,
Lobot Junior.
I love that she's. I like tech. I like tech characters, like in things like this. I love Data in the Goonies because he's the inventor kid. I always wanted to be like the inventor kid, So
Yeah. Yeah, and I would actually kind of agree with you. I'm really intrigued about KB. I want to
Yeah.
know like her backstory, and then because she plugged into the ship that they
Mhm.
were breaking into. She
Yeah.
plugged into the hatch, and I'm like, oh, so is
So
she
I mean, she's our
half
slicer
robot?
for
Like,
one
what's
thing.
going on?
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
she's gonna be the crew's slicer, but what
Yep,
else?
that's one thing I did the same thing watching this. I was like, okay, we got the leader, we got the coward, we got the dreamer, and we got the tech guy. It's like the Bad Batch all over again, except better.
Done right.
I can't quit talking. I can't keep talking shit about Bad Batch because I did finally finish it, and the ending was fine.
It make you cry?
No, it did not make me cry, but it was a good ending.
You liar.
It was a good. No, I hate Omega. I do not like that
Omega.
character.
You
at
don't
all.
like to see her old?
No, and if
Alright,
they bring her into the Mandoverse,
won't.
I might be a little upset.
Let that
Anyway,
burning
Yeah,
fire die.
no, I mean, great cast. Like Justin was saying, great chemistry between the 4 of them.
mhm,
The fact that they all at least loosely know each other from school.
right.
I was like, okay, so we've got 2 different neighborhood gangs, basically, who just don't normally hang out with each other, but get kind of thrown together by circumstance. It's like, oh, that
Right.
reminds me of a lot of my childhood.
I was gonna say being kids. going out and like you and your friend
Finding a dirt
somehow
fort.
right and running into like 2 other kids, and now all of a sudden you're this
You
like
guys want to
group.
ride bikes?
Yeah, and now you hang out all the time. Like it's definitely you can relate to a lot of these things happening, and like the one kid just wants to go on an adventure. You know, he just wants to be a Jedi, and he kind of gets himself into some trouble. What were your thoughts on the ship / Jedi temple? Because I was not convinced that it was a temple at first, at all. You know, when they said Jedi temple, I was like, no freaking way. And then when they opened the door, I was like, no way, that's a ship.
The hatch said it all, man. Once I saw
Yeah.
that circular hatch, I was like, "Oh, that's a ship. It's
Yeah.
underground, just
And
like
so,
the Goonies."
so
Or
do you think
lost.
that's an old ship that someone found the place and it got shot down? Because it like going
I
back into the mystery of Treasure Planet.
I think we had a crew that was carrying a treasure, and something went wrong, and they crashed.
Yeah, and the Onyx Cinder is probably the coolest name for a ship.
I never caught the name of the ship,
Yeah,
but that
it's
is pretty badass.
Yeah, it is a pretty sweet name. And
yeah.
then the droid in the ship, Smee. Let's talk about the droid, because that's spoiler alert. That's Justin's Boba's bounty. You know what? We're just not even gonna do that segment later. We're just gonna do this.
So the funny thing with Smee is I did not connect it to the Peter Pan Smee until my third watch to digest it. I'm like, honey, we're watching. This is my new favorite robot. Its name is SMEE. SME. Smee. And he talks he has the stereotypical pirate accent, does the lingo, has a peg leg for a droid, and I just think he's just awesome.
And
Yeah.
fun fact, he's voiced by Nick Frost.
He is. Yes, that was the next thing I wanted to get into.
No shit.
No shit.
And I did breeze past that question I asked about the ship crashing into the planet. Ro confirmed it crashed into the Forbidden Zone, as a droid called it. So I would guess, just to clarify that knockoff question I said, but I'm guessing it was someone that crashed there looking for the treasure, and they found it. They got shot down, and then the people that live there, or the powers that be, hid the ship to keep the townspeople from seeing it. Anyway, back to Smee. I love him. I love Nick Frost playing him, and I love that he is just a scallywag. He is the peg leg scallywag, first matey.
And absolutely loyal to his captain.
Yes,
Yep.
Captain.
Yep.
Whoever that may be.
His fight scene in episode 2 was
so
probably my favorite scene of
good.
both episodes.
Pretty kind of reminiscent of what was it, IG-11 in Mandalorian?
Yeah, kinda.
Going through with Grogu strapped to him.
Yeah.
I was sort of caught off guard that he was more of a melee robot. Just punching
Right, with
people on the chest and watching them go flying 10 feet.
With his things. But you know what that kind of comes from?
Shoot.
And I hate that I know this.
Rock'em sock'em.
Star Wars Hunters. That new character was that droid. It wasn't Smee, but it was a type of that droid.
Yeah.
That was a melee character that used his shields to do his shit.
That's dope.
So it's kind of funny that, a couple months ago they bring that game out, they bring that character out, and now we're actually getting to see it in live action. Disney's going all in with their original content shit. Ro asks, speaking of Peter Pan, is at in Neverland. I think Phil brought up a good point that Aden is kind of reminiscent of Atlantis, and that it's going to be like the lost treasure planet of Atlantis, which I am fully on board with.
See, and now I just want to go watch Treasure Planet.
Oh, I was just thinking the same. The old Disney.
Yeah, that was good.
Essentially Treasure Island, but in space.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's see, where are we at right now? So we're kind of wrapped up through episode 1, episode 2. We're getting into geez. Smee, we have all this plethora of new characters. Smee is obviously up there with favorites. Neil is up there with favorites. We're going to talk about Phil's Boba's Bounty in a second, but before we get to him, I want to talk about the little, I'm just going to keep calling them all scallywags. The little scallywag
Ricky,
that
that's
takes,
Robert Frost.
oh my God. But the little puppet guy that takes the kids from the ship to the pirate island.
The little ferryman.
Ferryman, yes. That little thing. I want him. I want him. I want him.
He looks
want
like
him
the
now.
shrimp guy from the Muppets.
Kinda, yeah.
Prawn.
He really does.
I'm a prawn.
You
I'm a
heard
king
about that
prawn.
guy?
Prawn, thank you.
Oh, he's
Meek.
Justin. No, Justin is thinking of Pepe, the king prawn. I think not Beaker, not Beaker.
No, yeah, but you're Pepe.
Yeah.
I think I was thinking of Beaker when Justin said it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, Beaker. Yeah.
Like he moved like I'm like
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I love the pirate island because you had a little knockoff Beaker. You had the bartender, which is a totally different alien. I've never seen that before. And he serves them like this weird ass octopus soup.
I thought it was more of a lobster. Uncooked.
Yeah, it looked like some sort of crustacean that he cracked over or something.
I'm not ballsy enough to just go into any restaurant and go, I'll take what he's having.
You've never
And
done
not
it
even
before?
No,
I mean,
have you really
No, I
done that,
wouldn't in the
Justin?
Star Wars
Yes, I
universe.
have.
It's a good way
Traveling
to end
abroad.
up dead.
Really? I need to hear this. Okay, so tell me about this, Justin. And how did it end for you?
It's a story best told not on live.
Okay. So break it down in a very live manner.
We were abroad in Asia, and I had no idea what the gentleman next to me was eating, but he was really slurping it down and enjoying it, and I ordered whatever he's having kind of thing. And when it came out, it was very odd looking. I didn't see the presentation prior to him demolishing it, and I hopped right in, and it was delicious.
What was it?
I still don't know, but it was something from the sea. It's
Something from the sea. Okay, so it wasn't like a dog or a cat or anything.
I hope not. But hey, you don't dog a culture once you're there being absorbed.
No, not at all. And look, I've had Rocky Mountain oysters. I am not opposed to eating weird things.
Just like chicken nuggets, man.
Yeah, exactly. But just to have the balls to go, I'll have whatever he's having. I couldn't do it. Because then I feel like it would just, that's what would happen is someone would bring out this like octopi and just break it in front of me and be like, here you go, slurp up. I wouldn't be able to do that.
It looked like a bowl of ramen. I thought
it's very interesting. But yeah, anyway, the whole pirate island is really cool, and I hope we spend a little bit more time than say this next episode on it. Like I kind of want to see what else is there, and like what other pirates are there. Hell, maybe we'll run into Jabba the Hutt's son here. Maybe we'll run into some crime syndicates,
Maybe we'll see Hondo Onaka.
I pray to the maker above that he shows up. That's all I want from Skeleton Crew is Hondo. That's it.
I think one of the coolest pirates is Phil's BB, if you want to build on him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing me back down. Sorry guys, I am a little sick today. I have been very heavily medicated all day. It is coming to the end of my night, and I'm a little bit loopy and a little sidetracked. So to my co-hosts and to the listeners, I apologize if things are a little weird, but I'm feeling a little weird. So,
Weird.
all these new characters, and one of the best new characters. It's up there with Neil. Obviously, it's not Neil, but it's close. We got Brutus, which
We
is
got
Phil's
Brutus.
Boba's bounty. So let's talk about Brutus.
Brutus is and I can never remember if it's Shistavanen or Shistavanen, how they pronounce it, the
I don't know either.
Wolfman
Yeah.
species
Oh, I
from
knew him.
Star Wars.
Right.
And Brutus just drops in to the first episode in guns, literally guns blazing. Just comes in, starts clearing off. There was a firefight. Full on Willem Dafoe.
Great
just,
reference. Great reference.
Yes.
And then, he basically clears the ship for his captain. And then when he finds out that the captain led them wrong, he does not hesitate to tell his captain, you screwed up. And you're gone.
Again.
You're done.
Yeah. He is a very cool character, and he's from a New Hope, isn't he? Is he the same?
It's not the same
species?
one. But the same species, yeah. No, one of them showed up. Like I was saying, when we first saw the original Star Wars, we see all these different characters in the background in the cantina. One of them was a Shistavanen.
Right.
But weren't they called the Werewolf Man originally?
Just Wolfmen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like
they eventually give them like an actual like name.
Yeah, I was just trying to find it. I have one of those action figures somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I love them. I've like played them in Star Wars like tabletop games.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
So
that's the only place you see those characters is in like tabletop games and shit.
Yeah.
Where it's like just such an obscure character that you can play as.
Yep.
Damn,
And they're just fun.
Yeah. And he was a badass. You only see him for what, 20 seconds in this? And the first 10 seconds is him wiping out a whole crew, and then the next 10 seconds it's him going, yeah, you guys can go hang out in the brig for a little bit.
Yeah.
There's nothing more badass than that, you know?
Yeah, that is great.
I feel like the creators looked at the Mos Eisley Cantina and are like, all right, which alien species would be awesome to pull and make more of a canon? They're like, oh, Wolfman, yeah.
I mean, if I was making a Star Wars, that's what I would do. I would go watch all the background characters and even like Clone Wars and Rebels, like looking for the most obscure aliens to throw in.
So
they
one of the Wolfmen was one of my favorite characters in the X-Wing, the Rogue Squadron books.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You get a guy named Riv Shield who shows up in one of those books.
Familiar.
And he is actually mistaken for the guy you see in the cantina. The guy.
Dude, I love how Legends did that shit. Legends would always just connect the most random shit to some random point of a movie. Oh man, that's so funny.
But yeah, no, Riv Shield was fun.
Yeah, and this character looks like he's gonna be no slouch. They're gonna definitely make it worth it. I feel like with this character. So
I was hoping that he had like more mats in his hair, like your cat.
Like my cat.
Yeah,
my cat
Trevelyan.
Trev is perfect right now.
Oh, there's been a few times where we hung out and I'm like, oh, Trev, I don't feel any her.
Yeah, and then I get her shaved and then she's good. Like,
yeah,
that's just how it goes, man. It's
she don't clean very well.
Every about 12 to 14 months, I have to get her. Even though I brush her almost every day, I keep up with her hygiene. She's just kind of a lazy bitch. So
yeah,
sometimes I just gotta take her to get shaved because she knows she loves getting shaved. That's the thing, is she loves the feel of her naked cat body. And so So she does it on purpose. She's like, I'm just gonna let my dreads grow out so Dad'll finally get me shaved.
Anyway,
Sorry. Anyway, moving on.
how about Jude Law?
I was just gonna say in my notes I have, is Jude Law a Jedi? Justin, do you think Jude Law's a Jedi?
Ah, man, he's force sensitive. Obviously, we've seen that, but
Mhm.
I don't know. Like we've seen Jedi fallen to the point of Balin Skull, where he's just a mercenary, to Cal Kestis becoming just a scavenger, wanting to go back to Jedi. So it could be anything, honestly. It really could. Will they tie it back into the fucking original trilogy? Probably, or not the original, but the prequels, probably.
Phil, do you think they're taking the mysticism away from the Jedi when they give characters force sensitive powers, but they're not Jedi?
Not in the least.
Hmm.
I have no trouble whatsoever with force sensitivity being a spectrum in the Star Wars galaxy, and you have some people who might be able to, nudge a rock or just have a little bit of precognition versus people who are, full on Jedi level,
Right.
and some people in between.
I like that because it's kind of like an artist, right? There's artists that have a really good talent and they can, like, let's say they write music, right? They can write a really good song, but it's never like top 10 Billboard hit song. It's always just kind of just a mediocre thing. But if they had the right training or the right producer or the right band, they would probably have a number one single. So is it kind of like, are the Jedi kind of like that now, where they have this talent, but without going through training, they can't really be a Jedi? Do you see
Yeah,
where
I
I'm going
mean,
with this?
I get that, like, being an actual, like, proper Jedi does require early recognition of your possible talents and then training to hone them. Yeah, that.
Gotcha.
I really dug how Phil said it's a spectrum. That actually makes total sense to me. Combining that with what you just said, maybe he didn't have any kind of guidance when he's older, so he only figured out how to use basic moves. I'll float this over. I'll push the soda can away rather than force push. Boom. He heard him
Sure.
actually, kind of thing.
I mean,
And I guess
Luke
time will tell,
Skywalker
too.
was, Luke Skywalker was not at all trained in any kind of telekinesis or precognition. I mean, he was a good pilot, so there was some of that precognition coming through, but not, to the level of
Well,
actual Jedi skill.
I'm kind of more so comparing Jude Law's character to Sabine,
Oh no, that's fair.
because Sabine is force sensitive, clearly, but kind of like shut herself out of it.
I mean, that was
And
voluntary.
yeah, but then, even with, I don't know, it just seems like even with a little bit of training, she's still having a hard time doing it. So that was my whole thing, are we kind of losing the mysticism of Jedi? But
No, I mean,
but
but we
I
talked
would
about this.
agree
We
that,
talked about this during Ahsoka too, though.
yeah, and I hope he is a Jedi. Like, in a way, I kind of hope he's
Fallen.
like this fallen Jedi that, just became a pirate after the fall of the Republic and had to do what he had to do, but still is able to. Uh-oh, here we go. It's not Cal Kestis.
Would Cal Kestis be his age? Would he? I haven't done math or anything. It's just random thought. But shut up. Would Cal Kestis be equivalent to Jude Law's age?
Maybe.
Then I could see
I
him being
mean,
the fallen Jedi.
I think he'd be older is the thing, but it's
And you're not going to have Cal Kestis be played by anybody other than that kid.
I know.
No way. There's no way. Because
We
that
won't
kid is
know.
already a good actor. Why wouldn't you just hire him, or cast him in that role? There's no way. I like where your head's at.
Cal
though. See,
Kestis.
now you're turning into me.
Palpatine, man. It's got to all connect back to Palpatine.
Yeah. How about that music, guys? The music of these 2 episodes. We always got to talk about the music, and it was very Star Warsy. There were some definite, like, even with Jude Law's scene, for instance, when he pulls the key towards him, it's very Tatooine sunset.
Mm-hmm.
But we also have like Pirates of the Caribbean in this. Yeah. Like, I am.
You got to get some rollicking music in
right,
there.
and like what kind of get the mandolin? There's a ton of mandolin in this, and I'm really digging the pirate Star Wars music. I think it's some of my favorite of these series so far. Obviously there's gonna be more. It's the same guy that's doing all the other music.
Mandalorian.
No, it's not him, not Ludwig. But
like
the guy that's done, he did Andor and Acolyte and those other ones. He's the son of another famous composer,
Mike
Giacchino.
Yeah.
Good stuff though.
Yeah, and he's doing good work.
I'm stoked to see. I always like going on Spotify after these series are done and listening to the soundtracks because they're really, really good. These composers are super talented, and not only are they good at making their own original music, but they're good at incorporating old Star Wars with new ideas.
Mm-hmm. Well,
obviously,
John Williams literally just
and you're never gonna be able to mimic John Williams. You're never going to be, that style. I can't say you're never going to be as good as him because everyone's good in their own way. But John Williams always had his own kind of style when it came to writing music for Star Wars or Jaws or Jurassic Park or whatever he did his compositions for. So I'm really enjoying this guy's Michael Giacchino.
Giacchino.
I'm really enjoying his scores and the way that he's like just kind of meshing everything together. So hopefully that continues. Okay. Where are we at? Do you guys have any final thoughts at all before or anything that you wanted to cover?
2 things.
Yeah.
Just character notes. Because Fern's mom. Where did I have my notes on that? There we go. Fern's mom is also the voice of Friday, Tony Stark's later AI after Jarvis.
Connolly? That's Jennifer Connelly?
No.
I thought Jennifer Connelly played Friday.
No.
Not the babe. The babe with the power.
Huh.
Yeah.
I didn't realize. Oh, okay. Carrie Condon. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
why was I thinking it was Jennifer Connelly?
I have no idea. But she is spectacular in this, giving the whole all of the adults in this so far are hitting a lot of those stereotypical 80s comedy kind of parental roles, like the absent parent, the parent who's always there but never actually listens to you. They're doing a good job hitting those notes. And then
I got it. Jennifer Connelly was Spider-Man's suit voice.
Oh, yes. Okay.
That's why I got confused.
Yeah. Yeah.
My bad.
No, that's okay. Wrong Stark AI.
Exactly.
Close, but no.
It actually makes more sense than it did to me before you reminded me of that. But back to voices.
Yes.
Brutus is Fred Tatasciore.
Who's
yeah,
that?
You watch Lower Decks at all? I know we're
I
crossing
have not
streams here.
yet. I
I know.
haven't watched Lower.
Uh,
Jesse, don't be mad at me, please. I haven't watched it yet. I'm sorry.
but he's Shax on Lower Decks, who is the big Bajoran security officer.
Check another one off the list of people that have played in both Star Wars and Star Trek podcast.
Yes.
Products.
But he also does a whole bunch of Marvel characters. He's done Hulk. He has been the voice of Beast. He is he's Soldier 76 in Overwatch.
I never played Overwatch either.
Solomon Grundy in DC stuff.
Solomon Grundy, born on a Monday.
He's the voice of Megatron in most of the live action Transformers films.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. No, dude is just a ridiculously talented voice actor.
Yeah. He's been around.
He's literally everywhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's frequently bigger guys. So he's been Hulk, he's been
right
all over the place. So he's spectacular. And I hope we get to see a little bit more Brutus coming up because
I mean, we will. We will. He's got to be. Maybe not though. They do like to bring out these characters.
He runs the port.
Yeah. They do like to bring out these characters though, and just like not give them any screen time.
Yeah.
So I wanted to return to Ricky's comment at 8:42. The return of sex slavery to the Star Wars.
Oh my god! I was trying to ignore that.
No,
it was a heavy implication that that's what they were gonna. The girls were gonna get stolen and traded into, and I thought that was very, very racy. That Star Wars touched it at all.
I mean, it was very
show.
Yeah, but it was very adult oriented. Like no kid is going to be like, oh my god, they're going to abduct those kids and throw them into human trafficking scenarios. And no, we think of that. Yes, kids aren't going to think about that. I mean, kids are going to think they're going to get kidnapped and thrown onto an island, and their noses they're going to turn into donkeys or whatever. But like. I was kind of shocked when I was like, oh my god, that she's implying that they're gonna like turn these little girls into one of her, basically, because that she doesn't work there for fun. That's not like her chosen profession.
She wanted to be an accountant or an analyst.
Yeah, yeah. She was in school taking her final tests and like. Yeah. No, it was very dark for sure.
Like literally, that was just the first implication I've ever witnessed in Star Wars universe.
Well, it very much implies human trafficking in Star Wars.
Yeah,
it kind of tells you that these pirates are basically stealing women and making them dance, and that's kind of crazy for a Star Wars show. But I don't think we're going to see much more of that.
I hope not. That was a big downer for me.
Yeah.
One last pickup from the chat. I missed it like 20 minutes ago. I believe that is my buddy Mike over at There Are Four Hosts.
I just saw that
coming
too.
in. Jumping over from the Star Trek realm to hang out with us, asking if we've heard of this planet in Star Wars before. No, we have not. That is the joy of Atten. It is a complete mystery to everybody right now. So
yeah, you're telling me you're from the long lost treasure planet of Atten. Yeah,
you're kind of like you're from El Dorado, the legendary city of gold,
right? And in a way, like
telling me you're from Wakanda,
and it's kind of cheesy, like for them to just throw that out,
Yes,
but
I mean that's how you would respond if somebody made such a ridiculous claim. It's not entirely out of the realm of possibility for someone to be like, "I'm sorry, you're from."
If kids in Oregon can find a lost treasure in like
Lost
some
pirate
cave
treasure.
somewhere, yeah, then some kids in a galaxy far, far away can be from a lost treasure planet, I would think, right?
The difference here is that One-Eyed Willie in Star Wars only ever had one eye to begin with.
You know, the good thing is I haven't seen a lot of hate on this
Yeah,
show.
no, it's flying fairly low right now. It's getting a lot
Yeah.
of very positive feedback so far.
You know what it is though, is a lot
That
of
we've
people,
only
I
seen
mean,
Jude Law for like 30 seconds.
with how bad kids have been treated in Hollywood, I don't think you're going to see a lot of hateful stuff with this show
I hope
because
not.
people are really
Uh-oh.
trying to pull back on their hate towards at least like child actors, you know.
Child
And this
actors are the
show
worst.
is nothing but child actors. So it's kind of brilliant on Disney's part to be like, "Oh yeah, you hated the Acolyte? Well, here's these 4 adorable kids. Talk shit
You are
now."
going to love every one of them.
Yeah.
That won't stop the trolls. Look at Ricky.
Dude, even Star Wars Theory posted some positive videos about this show. And that guy's a tool. I will say it all day long. I do not support Dude at all. And I really don't support him after what he did with the Acolyte. It was very just disgusting the way that he acted. One of the most toxic Star Wars fans. And even I popped up on my TikTok or something like that, and he was talking about, you know, how Skeleton Crew is pretty good. So I'm hoping this is a good sign and that this is a good step in the right direction towards everyone just enjoying Star Wars again and not trying to pick apart every single little aspect of it. Skeleton Crew the first 2 episodes they've been great. They're Like I said, it leaves a lot of intrigue. It brings in a lot of new awesome characters. We're seeing cool new alien races and old familiar alien races. There were some Trandoshans in this. You know, we had bounty hunters, we had pirates, we had all sorts of things. So I'm hoping that this show as it goes on just keeps getting better and that it helps bring this extremely divided fan base of Star Wars fans back together. It would be really nice. So
It's a hard reach.
it is.
I think we're off to a very strong start, though.
I agree.
Mhm.
And all that being said, this has been a fun episode, and we're about to close it out. But before we do that, we have to do a couple other things. One of those things is the Sarlacc Killer Scene, where we talk about our favorite still shot of each episode of Skeleton Crew. Today, we're going to start with Justin. Yours comes in at the 10-minute and 3-second mark of episode 2. Tell us why you picked this shot.
I picked it because Phil didn't. It's a wide view of an incoming to the spaceport with a bunch of ships and cannons around. The outer space looks like they're inside of a nebula. It's just beautiful. And the continuous shot throughout the next few seconds is it just getting more detailed. I thought it was a wonderful thing to see from like a bird's eye or outward point of view, and then boom, you're transported into the Pepe coming to pick you up. And it was just a fun little. It's just a fun little look at what they're getting into and what a spaceport of pirates looks like. A broken, dilapidated asteroid somehow strewn together to make a little colony.
It's the Star Wars version of Nowhere.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Very
Yep.
nice.
Yep. But that's an excellent pick.
You don't want to know what part of some giant alien creature that was.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna go there. But
I had to.
that's good. I'm glad someone did.
Yeah.
Great pick though, Justin. I think some of the wide shots in these 2 episodes were just fantastic. I had a hard time picking a favorite scene. This one wasn't even on my radar. I had so many other ones, and then you picked this one. I was like, oh my god. So excellent pick. Phil, we're gonna go on to your Starlight Killer scene, which is in the first episode at the 32-minute and 25-second mark. Tell us about this shot.
This is just the most 80s shot. I mean, we've got the kids in the haze as they're approaching reapproaching the hatch in the buried underneath the ground. They're about to literally fall into their next big adventure, and it's just such a E.T. or Goonies or Stranger Things even kind of shot, with the backlighting and the haze and just the relative isolation of this ditch where they have found the ship. Yes, it's a wide shot. It's a good establishing shot, but it's not like a full like whole environment kind of thing. It's still very grounded. But it's such a good shift before we go to like Justin's shot, taking the kids out into space.
Right. Yeah, I thought this is the one when I was talking earlier. This is the one that I was like, oh my god, we're in for a Goonies meets E.T. adventure for sure.
Yeah. There's just an air of mystery about the whole thing, and it's brilliantly lit.
Yeah. You know what's going to be great is when they actually bring in the ET aliens like they did in episode 1. Dude, they exist in Star Wars.
They do.
I know they had a Senate seat.
Like, it's going to be great when they connect that with Earth. Because then the trolls are really going to come out. They're really going to come out. It's going to be hilarious. Excellent shot though. This shot like basically sets the tone for the whole series, I think. Even though it's one of the last shots, I think it definitely sets a good tone. My shot is actually one of the first shots, which sets a kind of different tone, but it is what sucked me in to this show immediately, and it was the takeover of that cruiser.
Oh yeah,
the harpoons,
dude. Yeah, like
I way just that those things the boarding bridges.
Yes, that's when that happened. I was like, oh, wait, what is that? And then you start seeing the people run through the windows. I'm like, holy shit, that's so alien. That's so like 1988 aliens going on right there. Whatever year that movie came out, but man, it was cool. And I couldn't it was hard for me to pick a shot, but I think this one out of this whole 20-second little snippet, I think this was my favorite big shot. And yeah, it's new. It's something that you've never seen in Star Wars. We've never seen people get boarded like that. The only thing we've seen is tractor beams.
I like the concussive technology.
Yeah. And we're just gonna wreck you while we pillage you?
Yes. Yeah. No, and again, maybe it's just because I've been going through the High Republic stuff again recently. It reminded me a lot of the Nihil pirate raids, that's.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I think this scene also, like the first and last scenes of this show really, really set a good tone and really are getting us ready for what could be an Andor level experience, and even like just Andor level for the kids.
Ricky, yes, he was.
Yeah, totally.
Only his head.
Yeah.
Only his head. Only his forehead.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of foreheads, it's time for the Tusken Raider, that part of the show where we rate each episode. This week, I just want to do one big rating for both episodes. No need doing both of them. I'm not even going to write them down this time. We're just going to talk about them. So, Phil, let's start with you. What would you rate this series premiere?
A solid 8. Good premise. Still a lot of questions to be answered, but I mean, it's the premiere, so we can't go, expecting all of the plot exposition in those first 2 episodes. But yeah, no, we're doing a really good blend of familiar and new, and I think we've got a solid premise. Yeah, 8 out of 10.
Nice. Justin, what about you?
I agree with Mr. Phil. I give it an 8 out of 10. You know how the Skibbity Diz Riz kids are all about the 90s. This is touching the 80s that are old to them, and it's nostalgic for us. It's hitting untouched territory within the Star Wars universe of the pirate realm that we haven't seen too much. And it feels very fun. And I'm excited to see where it goes. But it started off with really good hook and pulling me into it. So much nostalgia factor. Honestly, the only thing I can give this a 10 would be to see, hey, you guys, and have a sloth character. They bring a sloth character into this. I kid you not, I'm flipping my shit.
That's Hondo. Hondo's going to be the sloth character.
I will accept that.
Just Jim Cummings rolling back in as the voice of Hondo.
Oh my god, that'd be so funny.
Hello, you guys.
Yeah, and I'm pretty much right there with you. I'm gonna go an 8.5 on this. And I add the 0.5 because like I said, it's something that I'm actually able to watch with my stepkids. And I've been trying to get them into Star Wars. I took my stepson to episode 1 and he was like mildly interested, We've watched Rogue One, like I've tried, but nothing really ever stuck. And so watching this show with them, they seem to really enjoy it, and I'm extremely excited to see if they continue to enjoy it. And I think I got to add that 0.5 on there just for that reason alone, because it's new for everyone. There's a lot of new experiences for everyone, not just in the Star Wars universe, but in my life, like my life. So
yeah.
So it's kind of cool, and I'm going to go 8.5. So
all right.
That being said, it seems like the average on this is an 8 out of 10, which is a solid start for the skeleton crew. So
hell yeah.
Anything else that you guys wanted to add for the evening, or should we walk the plank?
I'm good. I think we touched on a lot of aspects of the show. I liked how we bounced around. Yeah, I'm very satisfied.
Cool. Phil, I think we covered all your notes, right?
Yeah, no.
Got all those in? All right.
That was everything I had.
Sweet. Well, this has been a wonderful podcast. I've had a great time with all of you. Thanks to Ricky and Ro and what was your friend's name? There are 4 hosts. Mike from There Are 4 Hosts. I'm gonna make sure to go check out your show. And yeah, thanks to all the people that were hanging out. David was in the chat. It's good to see you guys. Good to be back. Good to be back doing this podcast thing, and good to be back watching some Star Wars. So
Ricky, we're not talking to Justin.
Normally this is gonna be on Sundays, so I know this is Monday and we're doing this a little late, but we're gonna be doing this episode, or we're gonna be doing our podcast for episode 3 next Sunday, and then every Sunday thereafter. My internet kept going out yesterday for whatever reason, so we had to postpone it. But moving forward, we'll be doing this on Sundays. So for Quest Me, I have been your host.
I'm Justin.
I'm Phil.
And we will see you next Sunday at 9 Central, 8 Mountain Time. May the Force be with you.